I put this shit on Jay Prince. I put this shit on Senior. My little nigga from Mississippi smacked the fuck out of Junior. Oh my grandma. Listen, you got that chain on, somebody smacking me. When I wouldn't shank it, I add a shank on this bitch. Junior came with that drunk shit like all that. Whoa! Oh my grandma, boy, we don't even play like that. Shit, I don't never do that. Get what Junior said? Nigga flew to the door. That nigga flew to the other side of the door on my grandma's grave flew. Nigga, what the? I like that little nigga.
Jay Prince Jr. was moving around Houston like he was untouchable, riding off his father's name and acting like he ran the entire city. But that mindset almost got him taken out when one of Rap-A-Lot's own artists caught him slipping over a contract dispute that was never handled right. I'm dead serious. This might be one of the wildest street justice stories hip-hop has seen in a long time. But before we get into that viral footage, we need to rewind and break down how it even got to this point, because this whole situation is insane. First things first, we gotta talk about Rap-A-Lot Records and how the label is really set up. Once you understand how they operate, everything else starts to make sense. Rap-A-Lot was founded by Jay Prince Sr., and to be fair, they're legends. They had Scarface, the Ghetto Boys, and helped put Houston on the map when nobody was paying attention to the South. But here's the crazy part. Artists in Houston today don't even want to sign with them anymore. The most iconic label in the city, and local rappers are running the other way. That's not by accident. The reason is simple. The contracts are straight up predatory. Rap-A-Lot targets artists when they're at their lowest, hungry, desperate, facing cases, needing quick money. They promise protection, promotion, and connections, but what they don't explain is that you're signing away damn near everything. We're talking about contracts where the label takes up to 90% of your music revenue. You do all the work, take all the risks, and they pocket almost every dollar. That's crazy. It gets worse. They control your YouTube, your streaming platforms, and route your money through third-party companies like Create Music Group. You get whatever crumbs they decide to give you while you're locked up or struggling to survive, and they're living comfortably. This isn't new. The streets have known this for years. That's why the new generation of Houston artists would rather stay independent, own their masters, and build their own lanes, instead of giving up 90% of their income. Think about it. Would you ever work a job where your boss keeps 90% of your paycheck? Exactly. Now, there's one artist who learned this lesson the hardest way possible, Honeycomb Brazy. Honeycomb Brazy, real name Nashawn Jones, is from Mobile, Alabama, a city where survival isn't optional. He came from nothing. His grandparents were murdered in 2021, and their home was burned down in what many believe was retaliation tied to street beef. His father is serving a life sentence, and his mother was struggling in the Happy Hills projects. Brazy wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing a way out. In 2020, one of his freestyles went viral, pulling in millions of views. That's when Jay Prince Sr. reached out. Imagine being young, broke, traumatized, and suddenly a hip-hop legend offers you a deal. So Brazy signs with Rap-A-Lot in the summer of 2020. They give him a Mob Ties chain, put him in videos with Jay Prince Jr. riding through Houston in a Rolls Royce, and sell him the dream. Brazy thought this was his chance to free his father and get his family out of the hood. He even said it himself. He didn't sign for fame, he signed to help his family. But here's where everything goes left. Rap-A-Lot promised him security and protection. What they actually gave him was fake security. Street dudes labeled as guards so the label could write them off as business expenses. No licenses, no training, just gang members riding with him. And Brazy trusted it because he trusted the label. Then in December 2023, Brazy is riding on I-65 in a Cadillac Escalade with this so-called security when police pull him over. That's when everything collapses. The men in the car start passing guns to Brazy, a 9mm and an AR pistol, telling him to take the charge. These weren't his weapons, his fingerprints weren't on them, his DNA wasn't on them, he barely even knew these dudes. But when the police found the guns, guess who got charged? Honeycomb Brazy.
Working as a bodyguard for a Mobile rapper known as Honeycomb Brazy, pleading guilty today to a federal gun charge. Miguel Hall pleading to being a felon, convicted in possession of a firearm. That charge stems from a traffic stop from a Mobile County Sheriff deputy on I-65 in December. Hall admitted he was not allowed to have a gun because of 4 prior felony convictions in Texas. Officers found an AR pistol near.
Chat, are we really surprised? Brazy is sitting in that car thinking he's protected, thinking he's good, and those same fake security guards end up setting him up to take the fall. That's the craziest part. None of them got charged, not one. They all walked free like nothing happened. Meanwhile, Brazy is the only one catching a case. That big security dude Brazy called out by name, still on the streets, living normal life. And here's what really shows Brazy's character. He could have snitched. He could have told police straight up, "Those aren't my guns, they passed them to me. That's Rap-A-Lot security." But he didn't. He took the charge. He pled guilty because he didn't want to be labeled a snitch and didn't want to risk his life going to trial. That's real. What makes it even crazier is Brazy said he actually had self-defense documentation for everything. He said it was all on paper. Somebody kicked in his door, he handled business, and legally he was covered. But fighting the case would have meant exposing who hired that security, and that could have gotten him killed. So instead, he sacrificed himself. Let that sink in. This man is doing time for Rap-A-Lot's fake security while Jay Prince is on a yacht somewhere living his best life. That's when Brazy finally said, "I'm done being quiet." From federal prison, he hops on a video call and completely goes scorched earth on Rap-A-Lot Records. No hints, no subliminals, full exposure. He starts breaking down the contract and drops a bombshell. He says they forced him to sign a deal with Create Music Group for $200,000 while he was locked up and desperate. Meanwhile, they made over $10 million off his music, and he didn't see a dime of that. Think about that. $10 million off his talent, and they slid him $200K like they were doing him a favor. That's not even 2%. Then Brazy starts screaming on live, "Give me my YouTube back. That's my channel. That's my money." He explains how they control his entire digital catalog, funnel his revenue through Create Music Group, and give him whatever scraps they feel like, all while he's locked up and powerless. Then he drops another gem. Brazy says he personally brought Finesse 2 times to Rap-A-Lot. That move alone made the label millions, around $10 million. And Brazy didn't get a finder's fee, a percentage, or even a thank you. Nothing. And the disrespect didn't stop there. When Brazy got out of prison the first time, how did Rap-A-Lot welcome him home? They didn't. No cameras, no jet, no celebration. He walked out and went straight back to mobile by himself. No Jay Prince, no Baby J, nobody. But when Finesse 2 times got released, oh, it was a whole movie. Private jet, mob ties everywhere, iced out watch, shopping sprees, turkey legs, cameras rolling, Instagram posts like a king returned home. Brazy saw all of that and said, "Hold up, I'm the one who brought him to y'all, and when I came home, I got nothing?" That's when it clicked. He realized he was getting played. And this is how the label operates. Treat one artist like royalty and another like trash, all while taking 90% from both. It's about control, not loyalty. Now here's the wild part. In late 2023, Brazy and Finesse actually get on FaceTime and talk it out. And they realize something crazy. They're both getting finessed by Rap-A-Lot. Same shady contracts, same missing money, same broken promises. Instead of beefing, they recognize the real enemy is the label that's supposed to be helping them. That's growth. Brazy even said on live, "I made more money in 1 week with my new Music Connect than I made my entire time with Rap-A-Lot." 1 week versus years. That's the power of owning your work. When you're independent, you might make less overall, but you keep way more of it. That's the game they don't want artists to understand. Now, let's get to the moment that broke the internet. Fast forward to 2024. Brazy is still trying to get out of his Rap-A-Lot contract, begging, demanding, asking to be released. They keep saying no. He even wanted to sign with Birdman and Cash Money, just like Drake did when he left Rap-A-Lot, but they refused to let him go. Brazy starts going public, posting online, saying straight up that Jay Prince and Rap-A-Lot are holding him hostage and stopping him from feeding his family. And then it happens. According to the streets and footage circulating, Brazy runs into Jay Prince Jr. in Houston, and Brazy's little homie from Mississippi handles business. No security, no backup, no daddy name to hide behind. Just hands. J. Prince Jr. got caught lacking and it went down. Brazy even confirmed it himself on Instagram Live. He said, "My little homie from Mississippi smacked the soul out of Jr. No denying it, no walking it back." And that's how the untouchable image finally cracked. And the wildest part, Brazy is snapping his fingers while telling the story like it was nothing, like it was the easiest thing in the world. He was proud of it, on live, laughing, telling everybody, "My grandma said Junior got slapped just like that." Even his grandma knew about it. The whole family knew. The whole family was celebrating. So what actually sparked all this? Simple. J. Prince Jr. reposted a freestyle from another rapper who was throwing shots at Brazy. In Brazy's eyes, that was straight disrespect. That was Jr. publicly co-signing his enemies, while the label still had him locked into what he calls a slave contract. That's disrespect stacked on top of disrespect. Now, J. Prince Jr. tried to play it cool afterward. He hopped on social media talking about, "I don't have no hate for Brazy. I'm praying he gets right. Let's keep it respectful." Trying to take the high road. But the streets already knew what happened. Once that bell is rung, you can't unring it. And let's be honest for a second. J. Prince Jr. can't fight. This is a man who grew up with a silver spoon, nice homes, private security, never had to really struggle, never had to survive in the trenches. His father's name protected him his entire life. Meanwhile, Brazy grew up in the Happy Hills projects, dodging bullets, trying to make it out alive. While Brazy was burying his grandparents because of street violence, Junior was going on vacations, two completely different worlds. But when you play with people's lives, when you play with their money, when you trap them in contracts while they're just trying to feed their families, eventually you're going to get caught slipping, especially when daddy isn't around. And that's exactly what happened. J. Prince Jr. got caught without security, without protection, and reality hit him hard. All that mob ties energy disappeared the moment it was time to stand on it. And here's another crazy detail. After all this went down, Brazy's Instagram post about the incident mysteriously disappeared. Just gone. Word on the street is J. Prince Sr. made a few calls and got it taken down. That's real power. But no matter how much influence you have, you can't erase what people already saw. You can delete posts, but you can't delete memory. Now zoom out for a second, because this is bigger than one fight. This is about artists finally standing up to predatory labels. This is about people saying, "You're not going to finesse me anymore." Honeycomb Brazy tried to do things the right way. He stayed loyal, he stayed quiet, he didn't snitch when he caught that gun case. And how did Rap-A-Lot repay him? By taking his money, locking him into contracts, and refusing to let him go. The music industry has always been like this, from Motown to Death Row to Cash Money's early deals. Labels exploiting artists isn't new. The difference now is social media. Artists don't have to wait 20 years to tell their story. They can expose everything in real time. So when the legal system doesn't work, when peaceful solutions fail, the streets step in. I'm not saying violence is the answer, but I understand how it got there. When you back someone into a corner, take food out of their family's mouth, and profit off their pain, consequences are inevitable. And the craziest part, all of this could have been avoided if Rap-A-Lot treated their artists fairly, if the contracts weren't predatory, if they didn't insist on taking 90% and controlling every aspect of these artists' lives. But greed took over, and now it's blowing up in their face. Think about it for a second. If they had just given Brazy a fair 50-50 split, supported him while he was locked up, showed up to his court dates, and let him out of the contract when he asked, none of this would have happened. Junior never gets touched, the label's reputation stays clean, everybody wins. But nah, they got greedy, they wanted to squeeze every dollar they could out of him, and now look where that led. Honeycomb Brazy just got out of prison. He did 2.5 years on that gun charge. Remember, the same guns that weren't even his. The big question now is this: is Rap-A-Lot finally going to let him go? Or are they going to keep holding him hostage? Is there more smoke coming? Nobody really knows yet. But one thing is clear: Brazy isn't backing down. He said he's standing on all 10 toes, and he meant every word of that. What we do know is this story opened a lot of people's eyes to how dirty the music industry can really be, especially with these old school labels still operating like it's the 1990s. Artists today are smarter. They're going independent, they're keeping their masters, they're building their own brands. They're not falling for these trap contracts anymore. Look at artists like Russ, Tech9, and Macklemore. They built real empires without major labels. Meanwhile, labels like Lap-A-Lot are starting to look like dinosaurs, stuck in the past, trying to run the same plays they've been running for decades. But the game has changed. The information is out there now. You can literally Google how to read a record contract and protect yourself. The lesson here is simple. Read your contracts, get a lawyer, don't sign anything when you're desperate, and if a deal sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Honeycomb Brazy signed that deal thinking he was saving his family. Instead, he ended up fighting for his freedom and his money. That's a cautionary tale for every young artist watching this. And as for J. Prince Jr., here's the lesson. Your father's reputation can only protect you for so long. Eventually, you've got to stand on your own. Respect isn't inherited, it's earned. And if you're out here playing dirty, the streets are gonna catch up with you. If you want more deep dives into hip-hop drama and industry secrets, let me know in the comments what you want me to cover next. Should I break down more predatory label deals, more contract horror stories? Drop a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Make sure you turn on that notification bell so you don't miss the next upload.